I'm back, Fight Fiends and Forecasters, and thankfully, I don't have to stop doing these predictions because D-Rod is in the house with a win after 3 losses in a row. Opened up as a favorite, obvious, clear as day. Alex Morono has never suffered back-to-back losses, but do you think the Fiend cared? No, lock it up. We had 4 other locks on the card at UFC Vegas 98, and we killed it. That's what we want to see. Fight Fiends, Forecasters, everybody in Discord, thank you for being active. Thank you for commenting on each and every video, making this possible. Now, I'm sorry if somebody gave you some misleading information about Tatsuro Terra, but if you listened to the full card prediction show last week, which I know a lot of people in Discord didn't, they didn't listen to the full card prediction show. They just look at the picks, and they don't want to watch my videos that I put hard work into. Oh well, I'm still here. Dog of the week, Brandon Raw Dog Royvel. He got her done. Split decision, doesn't matter. He had the finish nearly in that fight. He was closer to the finish than Tatsuro Terra. And yeah, looking at the numbers here, he got it done. He had the cardio. He's fought the better competition. You know, I was locked in there. I changed the pick to high confidence. 72% forecasted percentage. Looking at the current odds that he was at, especially when he moved to 340 plus 240, the implied probability was very incorrect that the bookies set. We had an edge on the book, and we had an edge on each and every lock of the week. Looking at the Forecast Forensic, which is a tool for platinum forecasters, $5 a month. We are catching an edge on these books. There is no denying it. We're finding spots that we can bet comfortably. Spots that we know are dangerous. On this card, we have 5-6 spots that are dangerous to bet. If you want to see each and every Forecast Forensic cheat sheet with these implied probabilities and forecasted percentages, with my confidence level on each and every fight, with the method of victory and the round outcome, and the fight winner, $5 a month. Now, once you do join Patreon by hitting the link in the bio, what you got to do is link to Discord. Discord is where I post each bet as soon as possible. ASAP Rocky, we get after it. I post a bet there, write up a little description, my unit size, everything like that. It's in Discord. You got to link to Discord once you buy Patreon for $5 a month. Becoming a Platinum Forecaster has been produced, and we were up 40 units on the last 3 events. Now looking at the last 4 events, we're down 10 units from Dana White's Contenders Series. Had a rough night, but up 30 units on the last 4 events. By taking my bets, each and every one with the unit size that I've been putting down, we can afford to lose 10 units on a night. We don't want to, but we can afford it. It sucks, but it is what it is. It was Dana White's Contender Series, and I'm glad that's over. So let's crack one, pour one. Everybody have a cold drink, relax. We're back at the Apex. We're looking to make some money. I'll try to go through these picks as quick as possible, not giving too big of an explanation on each fighter, what they can do, their weaknesses and advantages. You can do your own homework. You can do your own tape study. I'm here to give you my pick, my prediction. If you want to tail along, let's go straight to the bank again, because we made 23 units profit at UFC Vegas 98. Looking at these Apex cards and the UFC events recently, Fight Fiend Forecast is striving. Now I want to thank each and every forecaster in Discord, including Steve. He had a good night at the Dana White Contenders Series. He even had Garule against Piccinini. Very good pick from my boy Steve. Very successful forecaster up in the chat. We give each other heat, just busting each other's balls, but it's all fun and games. That guy can make some bank, ask for his picks, tail along. If you want to joke around with each other, don't be too rude up in the chat. We might have to put you on ban. You know, we're looking to have some fun, bust the balls with each other if you want, but don't be too rude. Let's keep it PG-13 if we can. And another forecaster, what about Tristan? He's up in the chat, in Discord, being very active. And he has his opinion on some fights, and I like the way he thinks. So we got a lot of people. We got Babar up in there. We got Gammon Girth, Danielle Brooks. I mentioned some of these people. because they are very, very successful forecasters. They are loyal, and they have been active. So if you want to get a shout out, you want to get on notice, get on lockdown, get in Discord by hitting the link in bio. It's free. Discord is absolutely free. Telegram, absolutely free. But I have locked channels in Discord in which you have to buy Patreon for $5 a month to unlock. But there is a lot of free features in Discord. Let me tell you about that. Big intro. Now, I have timestamps if you want to skip ahead, see each and every fight. We're going to make these fight predictions quick. Looking at Topology, you know what I'm saying? I just wouldn't blindly tail what everybody else is doing. Looking at these odds, are they correct? Are they incorrect? I mean, some of them are a little wild. A little bit crazy odds here. So we have to be careful. It's at the apex. Each and every card at the apex is kind of sketchy. These fighters haven't been around a whole lot, and we're about to find a whole lot about them. So let's start it off with the first fight of the night at heavyweight. Robelis Despaigne versus Austen Lane. These two big boys are going to work. They both like to get the knockout. They both have power in the hands. Now Despaigne, he obviously carries some Olympic credentials. Taekwondo. He is a very good fighter. A little bit different in the octagon. You've seen him lose his last fight there to Waldo Cortes Acosta. The game plan is there to beat him, but he is powerful. He has a lot of knockouts in round one, and I don't really see anything changing versus a guy that can get knocked out in round one, Austen Lane here. He's a big boy, 6'6", but Robelis Despaigne is bigger, and I think he will be more dominant with his size, with his power in this fight. Round one, round two, I think he's going to knock out Austen Lane. The durability is just not there. I haven't seen it, and I just can't trust it. Now, you look at the odds. You look at the percent of people on Topology taking the boy with Olympic credentials, Robelis Despaigne, from Cuba as well. 95% picking him to win. He's a minus 400 favorite. I'm sure he'll win. It's the first fight of the night. The underdogs have been barking in that first fight of the night. Not last week, but I don't think it'll bark in this first fight of the night either. I am taking Robelis Despaigne, and I don't really think Austen Lane has a chance, if I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? What has he done? What has he done? He's got knocked out in his last two fights. It's difficult to have faith in this underdog if you're looking to take a bet. He's a former football player. He's not even a true mixed martial artist. Where on the other side, you got Robelis Despaigne with Olympic credentials. As to the odds being so wide. As to 95% of people picking him to win. Let's be smart, but it's medium confidence, and I'm not picking Robelis Despaigne off a loss with high confidence. I'm not doing that. Medium confidence pick, 69%. I think he gets it done here. Knockout, round one or two. Let's get it. Elise Ardelean versus Melissa Martinez next. It's a women's fight. It's a low confidence pick. There's not really much to break down. This fight is going the distance, all right? Two women's fighters, roughly at the same point in their careers, but the records do not say the same thing. I think both these girls are going to be very competitive with each other. They stand around the same in the division. They can beat the same girls. They can lose to the same girls. And the odds kind of indicate that. This is priced pretty close. Where you see a girl 9-6, Elise Ardelean, you would think she would be a bigger underdog. The bookies don't think so now. Looking at the research, looking at the tape study, their Instagrams, not much to go off, but I do like the 9-6 fighter here. Just fought 2 months ago to Shannon Banan. Lost a split decision. Now you look at Melissa Martinez here, 2 years away off a unanimous decision loss to Elise Reed, who is fighting next. As a favorite, I don't like that. I do like the women's underdog in this fight. On to the next. And Elise Ardelean is the pick. That is how you say her last name. And the next one isn't going to be a high confidence pick either. It's not even a medium confidence pick. It is another decision, though. Let me tell you, these two girls kind of in the same caliber of competition. They can beat the same girls. They can lose to the same girls. I see this fight being competitive. Low confidence pick. I see these two fights solely going down to the judges scoring these fights. So low confidence on both of them. Jessica Penne, Elise Reed now, like, gun to the head, I'm taking Elise Reed. She's just fought maybe slightly the better competition, and she is 10 years younger. 10 years? Nearly 10 years? She is the much younger fighter. I think she has more in the gas to win. She is 7-4. Jessica Penne 14-7 with more experience, but she's 41. Training with Angela Hill is the only thing that this girl has going for her. She does have good training partners, but I cannot trust her to win a decision or get the takedowns. I see her getting taken down and controlled. I don't see Elise Reed getting a finish. The funny thing about Elise Reed, let me tell you, is this girl has got finished. There is a world in which she can get submitted. In this women's fight, don't be surprised if Jessica Penne gets the submission. Don't even act surprised. It's a low confidence pick, but I'm taking Elise Reed to win it by a decision. Looking dominant with those takedowns. Control time. Cardio. She is the younger fighter, and that is what will give us edge on the books in this one. It is a closely priced fight. Elise Reed is the favorite, rightfully so, but it's still dangerous to bet her at how wide this is going to get if people are taking Elise Reed. I don't know what they are doing. Jessica Penne could get the submission. It could be a prop I'm looking to bet, but we got another women's fight to break down, and we can't talk about these fights too long. We got Joselyne Edwards fighting Tamires Vidal. Both these girls are not the same. This prediction is different. I'm taking Joselyne Edwards, high confidence. She hasn't won her last 2 fights, and she looked good in one of them. In France, I thought she beat Nora Cornolet. She got the wrong side of the scorecard in that one. In her last fight, though, she did lose as well to Aline Perez. She got taken down, controlled. So she is on a losing skid. She is the favorite, minus 250. And you have to agree with the book here. Because Tamires Vidal, other than that big knee to Romana Pasquale, like, she hasn't done a whole lot of pretty work inside of the UFC. Simple as that. She doesn't look UFC caliber. She lost her last 2 fights, 26 years old, and lost a split decision to Montserrat Rendon. Not too bad. Like, Rendon was undefeated 5-0, but knocked out to Melissa Gatto with the body shots 4 months ago. I don't see her having enough time or window to improve. Vidal does not have time to improve to beat Joselyne Edwards. It's as simple as that. Joselyne Edwards, high confidence. It's an 83% confidence level here versus a 71% implied probability from the book. So I feel like we have an edge. It's a women's fight. It's hard to say that we do have an edge in a women's fight because anything can happen. Joselyne Edwards has been in close fights, and she just does not fight for your money in the 3rd round. Just not hard enough. I'd like to see a little bit more to my fighter. She is from Panama. I can't see her going 3 losses in a row, looking to exit the UFC. She's trained at King's MMA. There is a lot of signals that tell me this girl's going to have success in this fight. So I'm going Joselyne Edwards, high confidence. You heard enough. We're on to the next fight where we see another fighter at minus 250, Jean Matsumoto versus Brad Katona. If you think I'm taking a Canadian, you're wrong. Those boys are soy. And yeah, I'm Canadian. And yeah, I'm not happy about it. I wish that they could have a little bit more success. Look at GSP. What the hell has happened to the Canadian boys? Now, I grew up playing hockey. Maybe I should start training mixed martial arts. Because this shit is pathetic, what these Canadian fighters are doing. If you think Brad Katona has a chance as an underdog, sniffing crotch, going for takedowns and control time in this fight, you're wrong. He probably gets submitted. Jean Matsumoto, minus 250 Brazilian, is a dog. He has beautiful leg kicks, combinations, and he's 15-0 undefeated. You know what I'm saying? He is a very good fighter on the rise. Keep your eyes on Jean Matsumoto. I already made the mistake. I don't want you to make the mistake of going against this guy. He beat Dan Argueta, who I think could beat probably Brad Katona. Like, Brad Katona had to win the Ultimate Fighter twice. He got cut from the UFC. This guy gets hit a lot. I don't think he's going to have success. He couldn't even finish Jesse fucking Butler. Jean Matsumoto wins the decision Worst case, Ontario, because Brad Katona just is not a killer. He's not that kind of guy. And the Canadians clearly aren't doing good, so it's time to use that reverse psychology. For me, I'm Canadian. Go against the Canadian. Let's go, Jean Matsumoto. It's low confidence for me, though, because Katona has cardio. And, he can push a pace. And he did win the Ultimate Fighter twice. He does have more experience, credible experience inside of the UFC. Jean Matsumoto beat Casey Tanner in a very, very close fight on the Contender Series 1 year ago. Very close fight. He got the contract, but for 15-0, he had 2 decision wins to a guy 9-3, to a guy 9-1. Very good level of competition, but we just don't know how good this guy truly is. I believe his ceiling's high. I do think his ceiling is much higher than Brad Katona, obviously, as well in this fight. So I just hope he doesn't mess this one up. For some reason, I'm not overly confident, but I'm pretty confident that he gets her done here against the Canadian. In the next fight, it's the same situation. It's a fight where we should be high confidence, but I'm just not. It's Almabaev versus Matheus Nicolau, and the only thing that worries me in this fight is Asu hasn't really fought very high-level competition when you dig deep. He's 20-2, and the level of competition that he has fought is kind of sketchy. 2 years ago, he beat a guy by split decision that was 21-10. So now he's facing a guy 19-4 with UFC caliber fights on his resume for the past, 5 years? And he's beat Tim Elliott. He's beat David Dvorak. And he knocked out Matt Schnell. Pretty easy to knock out Matt Schnell, but he beat David Dvorak, and he beat Tim Elliott by a decision. He can win this fight by a decision. Asu Almabaev, he took Jose Johnson to a decision, and he took CJ Vergara to a decision. He's always looking for a submission. It is a dangerous threat, but if he doesn't get it, he's kind of chasing, and he might have no success in this fight because Matheus Nicolau has a good takedown defense. He's good on the feet. He's crisp and clean, and he wants a win. Looking at this guy, he's going to fight like a dog. He lost his last 2 fights, getting knocked out to Alex Perez with a right hook 5 months ago, and getting knocked out to Brandon Royval. People are going to think his chin is gone, but I don't really think it is. I'm very low confidence in Asu Almabaev to win this fight. He's going to have to use the takedowns, control time. But actually, I think about that now. We all know that is not getting scored in the UFC in mixed martial arts right now. It's 2024 in the UFC. Steve said it himself. This is probably a Matheus Nicolau pick. To win a decision, if I'm low confidence on Asu Almabaev and he's minus 175, it is dangerous to bet him with how confident I am in him to win. We might have to bet Matheus Nicolau. We might have to switch the pick by the time the props and parlays show gets posted. So Platinum members for $5 a month will see a pick change if I happen to make one. This fight is close, and I see people locking in and saying Asu Almabaev is a lock of the week. Did they do their research? He's 20-2, blindly looking at it. It looks easy, but he submitted Ode Osborne. Out of 5 losses, Ode Osborne's been submitted 4 or 5 times. So that's not overly credible. He submitted another guy before that, 3-1. He's not getting a submission win in this fight. If he does, I will be shocked. Very shocked. This is going to be a close fight, and people are way too confident in Asu. I'm here to tell you the truth. I could be wrong. But I'm telling you, this forecast forensic cheat sheet has an edge, and I might have to prove it to you in this fight, because nobody's going to pick Matheus Nicolau. 19% on Tapology have him to win out of over 1,500 people. So with that being said, because I think this is a close fight, maybe we do take the plus 160 underdog, Matheus Nicolau. He's Brazilian. He's going to chase the bags. He just lost 2 fights in a row. He's fought UFC caliber competition and beat them and looked very good. I have a weird feeling about this one, everybody, so $5 a month on Patreon if you want to see the pick change, if you want to see each and every bet. Hit the link in bio. $5 a month for each and every event to see the forecast forensic cheat sheet, platinum picks cheat sheet. I'll tell you right now, I'll be straight up. it is dangerous to bet Asu Almabaev at minus 175. Very dangerous. I would tell you to stay away. Don't put it in a parlay. I know it's tempting. I know he's 20-2 versus what seems to be a for sure lock-in spot, but I'm telling you it's not. It is not. And I hope you listen. And if you don't, I hope you lose on the Asu Almabaev side. Because I'm not betting him. I'm not putting any money on him if I do pick him. Hopefully that's transparent enough. Has to be. I can't believe people aren't listening to these videos. I'm just killing it. Next up, we got Darren, the Damage, Elkins, fighting Daniel Pineda. Alright, I'm a pop off here. Pineda's fighting. This guy's a puh. He has to take some juice to make himself relevant, have cardio, get finishes. Guess what Darren Elkins didn't need? Alright? This guy can wrestle, Darren Elkins. This guy can put damage on his opponent. He could get the finish in this fight. He could do that type of shit to this Daniel Pineda. Pineda. Yeah, I think Pineda's getting submitted. If I'm being honest, you look at this guy, he has a lot of finishes, Daniel Pineda, but damn, he gets submitted a lot. You're fighting a guy that can get a takedown, and I'm telling you, when Darren Elkins gets a takedown, he don't fuck around. He goes for it. He gets after that shit. And I want a guy that's going to fight for my money and fight for a finish. Round 3, he's been getting the win, and he's still going for the finish. And he's an older fighter, but guess what? This is a different type of situation where you have two fighters roughly the same age. Darren Elkins is not much older than Daniel Pineda. Pineda, in my opinion, off that pussy pop juice, he might have to fucking fight really, really hard. And he has not impressed me as of late. Honestly, I don't think he is in the UFC for too much longer. I would like to see him go to the PFL. I'd like to see Darren the Damaged Elkins, the guy that's paid his dues in the UFC, get another win here and make it look dominant. Put the damage on Daniel Pineda. Knock him out. Probably unlikely because he is older. He's slowing down. I don't think he has as much pop in his punches. Not as much sting behind those shots for the old Damage. But let me tell you, if this fight gets to the frigging ground, he will fight for that submission. He's an underdog. Money coming in on this underdog. It's sharp. 100% it's sharp. And he's going to win. He is the dog of the week as well. He beat Tristan Conley. Not a great win, but his last win, TJ Brown, got the submission win. 11 months ago. He looked very good in that fight. And you know what? Daniel Pineda lost his last 2 fights. He lost to Alex Caceres. He lost to Nathaniel Wood. He can get taken down. He was put in submission attempts. It's only going to take one in this fight. I have to go Darren the Damage Elkins. Submission. And Darren Elkins has been submitted once. You look at Daniel Pineda, how he wins his fights. Out of 28, he's submitted 19 opponents and has been submitted 6 times. He's lost 7 decisions. I could see Elkins winning it by a decision as well, but Pineda has been submitted a lot. His game plan looks to be go for a submission, see what you can do there. He likes to win his fights by a submission. He submitted his last opponent, Tucker Lutz, by a guillotine choke, but let's be honest. If anyone's getting a submission in this fight, it's Darren Elkins. And the Damage can wear a punch or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. I can't really say the same about Daniel Pineda, but I will not sit here and tell you Darren Elkins is getting a knockout because he is slowing down. He doesn't have as much sting behind those shots, no pop behind those punches anymore. So I see it going to the ground, and I see a submission win in this fight for the Damage. Let's go. I'm fired up for this one. Probably the fight of the night. Darren Elkins, Daniel Pineda. Next fight is canceled. Brady Hindstand, Jake Hadley. So we're going to talk about Mudaerji fighting Charles Johnson. Now, Charles Johnson, I don't really like to pick him to win, and now I'm picking this guy with high confidence. Mudaerji, another guy that gets submitted a lot. You look into how he loses. He's been getting submitted quite a bit. Regional scene, he's been getting submitted. Charles Johnson, I'm not sure if he can get a submission, but I will pick him by a submission. I'll probably bet him by a submission because he could get a takedown, and he does have some good back control. He does have submissions on his record. So, it is possible. And you know what? I'm a gambling man. And if I'm going to find a prop that is likely to hit because this guy got submitted 6 times out of his 6 losses, and he's not a favorite, so the book is telling me Charles Johnson minus 225 should be a lock-in spot, 69% implied probability, where somehow I have a 91% implied probability for him to win in this fight. That's a pretty significant edge. Forecasted percentage here coming in at 91%. That's a lot higher than 69% implied probability from the book. Fairly significant. Charles Johnson isn't really a guy I like to pick to win, but Mudaerji, bro. 6 submission losses, dude. His last win was a decision to a guy 3-2. He beat Malcolm Gordon in round 1, but I don't really see Charles Johnson getting knocked out in this fight. He just knocked out Joshua Van. So I can somehow confidently say in this fight, Charles Johnson will be the better striker. He'll have the better cardio. He could get a takedown in this fight, in which could lead to a submission because Mudaerji gets submitted in every loss. It's what happens. So 6 losses, 6 submission losses. It's an automatic bet for Charles Johnson by a submission. It's as easy as that. He is a favorite. He should win. He is a 91% confidence level to win this fight for me. He beat Azat Maxim 15-0. He beat Jake Hadley 10-2, and then Joshua Van knocked him out in round 3 with that uppercut 10-1. Showed his underdog durability, his toughness, his will to win. He showed a lot of dog in him. He was underdog, got the big win there. So those are some big wins. And he didn't even get finished to Rafael Estevam or Cody Durden. And he didn't even get finished to Muhammad Mokaev as well. Was put in some pretty dangerous submissions in that fight. So, you see a win here. Had an Anaconda choke in 2021 LFA. You look at the other submissions on his record. He has 4 of them. 6 knockouts. 6 decisions. I don't really think the submission is that unlikely. You see a lot of decision wins for him. A ground and pound win against Jimmy Flick for Charles Johnson. But I just have a weird feeling that, an Anaconda, rear naked choke. He even had a Kimura back in 2017. But he was debuting, but he had a Kimura win there. And then in his debut, he got an arm triangle choke as well, round 2. So, something about round 2 and the submission win for Charles Johnson. I just have a weird itch for it. I can see it unfolding in this fight. And it should be pretty obvious to the sharps, because Mudaerji's been submitted in every single fucking loss. And to point out the obvious, he's an underdog in this fight, so they're not expecting him to win. His last win was to a guy 3-2 by a decision, so not a good look. Charles Johnson is very active right now, and Sue has not fought since 10 months ago. Got submitted. Arm triangle choke to Timelian. We'll see what happens. I mean, 91% forecasted percentage is a little bit high, a little bit sketched out, but I got to trust in my instinct and my intuition here. The books have it at minus 225. That's only 69% implied probability here, so I feel like we have an edge. See what happens. I usually don't like to take Charles Johnson with this much confidence. And now we got the next fight of the night, the co-main event. Kyler Phillips and Rob Font. Rob Font is another guy getting a little bit old in his fighting career. Soon time for an end. He has been showing some fight. He's fought the higher caliber guys. He showed a very good jab in his last fight, as he does in each and every fight, but I don't know how long he can just fight off that jab. I do see him getting taken down and controlled in this fight. Now, I know the judges aren't scoring that type of stuff, but you would think with it being close on the feet, Kyler Phillips can do more than just throw a jab. He can do some spinning kicks, some spinning back fists. He can make it exciting. He can entertain the fans. He could mix in the takedowns, control time, maybe attempt a submission, come close, but just not get it because Rob Font ain't that bad. He ain't a bum by any means. It'll be a close fight. It'll go the distance, in my opinion. Either side might be worth the bet, depending on how you see it going down here. But I seem to be high confidence in Kyler Phillips. He is the younger fighter, but I'm not probably going to lock him in. But Rob Font did only win one fight out of his last 5. So it's not really looking like he has a whole lot of confidence in this matchup here. Coming in at 37 years old versus a 29-year-old with a great cardio, killer instinct. Yeah, I'm pretty confident Kyler Phillips can win a decision, but, Rob Font knocked out Adrian Yanez a year and a half ago there, and just showed that there is levels to this game. Now, is Kyler Phillips a level above Rob Font? At this point where the fighters are at in their career, how old they are, looking at the 37-year-old versus the 29-year-old, you gotta think Kyler Phillips can get it done. You just gotta believe in the guy at this point because he beat Pedro Munoz, Raoni Barcelos, both those fights by a decision. He has the cardio, it's checked out. He has good striking. He has good takedowns and control time. He even submitted Marcelo Rojo with an arm triangle. Not an arm triangle, an arm bar. A triangle arm bar, sorry. So he has some beautiful submissions if he wants to start pulling them out. In this fight, Rob Font, has he been finished in his last 5 fights? No, he has not. He's lost every single fight by a decision, as to why my pick is Kyler Phillips by a decision. Pretty cut and dry. 73% confident that Kyler Phillips can get it done here, which makes it a pretty dangerous bet because he's minus 400. So, high confidence, but very dangerous to bet. It's a very, very interesting fight, I guess. We got to be careful for sure. Kyler Phillips, is he going to pass the test? I would have to think so. He's training at the MMA lab. Look at Mario Batista. Just get it done to Jose Aldo. You got to think someone in that camp is also ready to get it done versus a credible guy in the division. Has paid his dues, Rob Font. So big fight and a potential big win for Kyler Phillips incoming here for the Fight Fiends. The next fight, the final fight of the night, the fucking main event of the evening. And these guys are fighting in their first ever main event. Now this Tapology read is interesting looking at the picks. I'm doing my research and I see 63% of people on Michel Pineda in this fight versus Anthony Hernandez. Like, what in the fuck? This guy just beat Ior Potieria. I don't know if this guy's quite UFC caliber, if I'm being honest. Ior Potieria. And he beat Michel Olazechuk. But he got submitted to Kevin Holland pretty recently. Olazechuk did. And Andre Petroski, before I talk about Petroski, Kevin Holland was Anthony Hernandez's last loss by knockout in round 1. So, although Michael Olazechuk doesn't look like a great win because he got submitted to Kevin Holland knocked out Anthony Hernandez in round 1. Michel Pereira is looking very dangerous in round 1. He's super explosive and powerful, but the level of competition is questionable. So the Andre Petroski fight, he knocked that guy out in round 1. Petroski has next to no striking. I think Anthony Hernandez can keep it competitive on the feet long enough to get it out of round 1, round 2, where you're going to start to see the downfall from Pereira, where he's starting to gas out, potentially fade, and Anthony Hernandez take over, get the takedowns, get the back control, and the back control will lead to another submission win on this fight night. Another submission win, let's call it. Anthony Hernandez gets the back control, gets the submission win to Michel Pineda when you have 63% of people on Tapology out of 1,700 picks picking him to win. I can tell you that's probably incorrect. He is the underdog by the sport books. You see the line coming down, respect to the public and some of the sharps taking this underdog. You're going to make your picks, you're going to take your stabs, but I just don't see it happening. This is a lock-in spot for me. This is potentially my most confident pick on the entire card. Now, when you see the odds like this, minus 140, that is a 58 implied probability. I talk about having an edge on this fight night on my forecast forensic cheat sheet, which is in front of me right now. I see 87% forecasted percentage in Anthony Hernandez to win. That's right. 87% confident that this guy can get the win, and the books think he gets it done at a 58% implied probability. What are you guys rated up as? I did my homework this week. I've done my research. I can see a round 3 submission win, a round 4 submission win for Anthony Hernandez. Fluffy is good, and he is looking for his strap. He ain't fucking around. I know Michel Pereira ain't screwing around either. He's getting finish wins, but he took Santiago Ponzinibbio to a split decision 2 years ago. He couldn't even finish Andre Fialho, who has no chin. I don't think he's having success in this fight. Now, people are buying into his last 3 fights. Like, let's give him a big round of applause for beating Ior Potieria, Mikhail Olazechuk, and Andre Petrosky. But credit to Anthony Hernandez where credit is due. He just beat a very good striker in Roman Kopylov. Submission win 7 months ago. He knocked out Edmund the Golden Boy Shabazian with a knockout ground and pound. And yeah, he might not have knocked him out like standing on the feet, boom, but he took the fight to the ground and he showed his nasty ground and pound. He's not going to get the takedown and make this shit boring. He also has a nice win to Marc-Andre Barrios. It was an arm triangle choke 2 years ago. That was a dominant win. He's battled and showed his durability throughout his fights. He's been battle tested. Fluffy is fucking ready to go, and I'm very confident he gets this win. Let's lock it up. Anthony Hernandez is a lock of the week for me. I had 5 last week. Am I going to lock in Joselyne Edwards? Probably not. Am I going to lock in Charles Johnson, someone that I never like to have high confidence in? No, probably not. Am I taking Kyler Phillips as a lock minus 400 when I know it's a dangerous bet? Nah, I ain't doing that. So you got the one lock of the week. It's Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. I'm looking to make a sizable bet on him on the money line. I'm putting the money down on the chalk, and I'm getting paid again. Looking for profit. These are the picks for UFC Vegas 99. I hope you enjoyed. Anthony Hernandez is a clear pick. I don't understand the money coming in on Michel Pereira. I don't understand everybody picking him on Tapology, but I'm telling you what I'm doing, and I don't need to be that in-depth with my prediction, to be honest. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, well, he beat Josh Friend by unanimous decision. Whatever, man. He submitted Rodolfo Vieira, black belt, arm in, guillotine choke. This guy's ready to go. Do your research. Do your homework. If you disagree with the picks, completely alright. Let me know in the comments below. Smash the like button before you go. Suplex the subscribe button right now. And I appreciate everybody becoming a platinum forecaster for only $5 a month. And I appreciate everybody for staying active in my free Discord. So if you want the link to the Discord, just hit that link in bio below and we'll see you for the next props and parlay show. Let's go get it, Fight Fiends and Forecasters. You know what to do. It is F34L. It is F34L. If you have not liked the video, please like the video. And suplex the subscribe button if you have not yet. I'm ready to give out some free money once I get to 1,000 subscribers.